Hello guys, Mike is here through the phone again.
What's up, guys?
Today we're going to talk about the NBA and NHL championships and playoff runs and what we think, what we were thinking, along with other things probably. But we'll start with NHL. So Mike, did you manage to catch any NHL playoff games?
Can I be honest? I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, I didn't either, and
That's kind of sad.
and
I
to and it's
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. I was just saying that there's just so many games. It's just hard.
Yeah, to be honest, if the Red Wings were in it, I'd probably try to catch a game or two or something, but with them being one of the few teams out, like, it's kind of hard to be like, ooh, let's... And you know what the sad part is? The league, out of all the constructed playoff and all that, it was the most interesting, the most well thought out, and from what I've heard, it went pretty well. It's just there wasn't really any team to latch on for me at least, or player, because I'm not as aware of in current day hockey as a lot of other people are. But
A ton of people have been saying since this new championship that LeBron James is in contention to be the GOAT player. What
oh
do you think about that?
fuck no, he's not the goat. Jordan, I'm a Jordan guy. Jordan's the goat. I'm a Pistons fan, but Jordan's the goat. He he has. You see anyone running to get LeBron shoes? No. They're Air Jordans for a reason. I don't know what's with these people saying, "Oh, he's going to be the next this. He's going to be better than this." No, let them
You
be.
know how many people are gonna hate you for like
I don't care.
LeBron fanboys, right?
I don't care. Look. I'm not saying LeBron's a terrible player. He obviously is a good player.
No, I'm doing a video. Yeah.
But
Yeah, did you get that in the video when he said, Mike, do you want Chipotle?
nah, I didn't quite hear it. But I'm not always the best at hearing long distance like that.
Do we want to cut that out?
I don't think it was caught. In all honesty.
We should cut this part out now, right? Should we?
I don't know. I'll listen back to it and see if it's anything terrible. But anyway, but yeah, LeBron. I just the problem with LeBron is his fucking attitude. Now, granted, I'm not saying Michael Jordan was a saint, but in terms of like when I look back on their careers, Jordan Jordan never really liked. I mean, let's look what LeBron did. That's a better way of looking. Look, he went that whole Miami shit. I mean, God, I remember it like it was fucking yesterday. ESPN had this big special, The Decision, and it was like meant to be like an hour ish, maybe an hour 10, and like 20 minutes in, he announced his decision, and the other like 40 to 50 minutes was just people looking like asses trying to dissect why he went there and not everyone else. It was just so awkward. It was just like, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. It's just like, fuck you. Fuck you. And you know what?
It was just so funny. I'm just dying, dude.
And here's the
But,
thing.
it was such a fiasco that LeBron
Yeah.
finish all his career in Cleveland.
And he pretty much manipulated Cleveland because after he left, everyone burned his shit, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm home, I'm good." And then he did this other thing. He's like, after Miami, he was just like, "I'm coming home," and everyone started buying his shit again. I'm just like, don't do it. He's just gonna leave you again. He's not gonna stay there. Are you kidding me? He's just going. He's just going there just to stroke his ego, and just and you know what the problem? And this is when I noticed the trend because he went to Miami and they had a stacked team because they already had Dwayne Wade, the homeboy, you know, the guy who's been there forever. Chris Bosh was the other pickup. He was hungry for a ring. I mean, and you had a couple other good, you know, bench guys like the Birdman. Throw those guys in.
I feel like the biggest player on the Lakers besides LeBron is obviously Anthony Davis. Now,
Oh
that's
yeah.
just opinion.
Oh yeah, he's a big player
Agree
there
with
too.
that or not? Would you kind of agree with that?
That Anthony Davis is a big player.
He's probably the second biggest player that the Lakers had other than LeBron James.
Oh no, he's pretty big. Now here's the problem with LeBron, and I know I stated this before, but he's a plague on every team because when he joins a team, it's the LeBron show. And yeah, you may get a ring, but here's the thing: once he leaves, you're worse off than you were before because the talent you were trying to develop left because they were sick of getting their time to shine overshadowed by LeBron's big fat throbbing ego. Look at Kyrie Irving with Cleveland. Cleveland picked a perfect like future star with Kyrie Irving, and he got sick of LeBron shit and he went to Boston.
Yeah, dude, I kind of can agree with that opinion, but dude, hear me out.
Yeah.
Championship ring. There are franchises in professional sports that have never won a championship ring in the modern era.
Yeah, but yeah.
It would definitely be worth it for most teams. Don't you agree?
Well, here's the problem though. It's not about like going there and winning the ring. It's about staying relevant. How relevant is Cleveland now after LeBron left?
Well, I guess you are right, but some would just say the championships are worth it. Like, because for Cleveland, I think it was worth it.
Well, here's the thing.
You can stay the whole time.
If they built the team like Golden State did, I would see your argument. But here's the problem. There was no build there. LeBron used Cleveland to stroke his ego, and then after he was finished playing with his toy, he left to play with another toy. Okay, that's my problem with LeBron. All he thinks about is himself. Like, anyone who's along for the ride are along for the ride because he's like, yeah, you can be good for me, you know? And I'm saying these things based on what I've seen. I don't know LeBron. For all I know, I could meet him one day and he could be a cool guy. And all my interpretation from the media could be dead wrong. However, based on what's been going on, he doesn't act like he wants to invest in something. He acts like he just is touring. Here's the other thing. He started at Cleveland. He couldn't win there. Or he tried to win and he didn't. He threw a bitch and fit moan fit. He left to Miami. He quit Cleveland. He went to Miami. He got his rings finally. And then he's like, okay, I got my rings. Now what? Now he made a checklist of what all the other Hall of Famers do. They go if they couldn't succeed with their original team, they leave to find success. Then they go back to their original team, success or no success, and try to win it again. And then he did, and he's like, okay, I won it here. What's the next checklist? Well, you know, the Lakers are pretty historical. They have Kobe. Kobe was on there, so I might as well stroke my ego in L.A. So he goes to L.A., and there he's stroking his ego again.
He did win a championship, though, so, I mean, I guess it was a good fit. Who knows if he went to a different team, if it would have turned out differently. Like, I can't say for sure, I know that.
Well, I will say this. Lakers were freaking shit before LeBron came in. And when he leaves, they're going to be shit again. Now, I know this is like, but doesn't it testament to how great of a player he is? It's like, no, it doesn't. It only testaments to like how much control he wants the team. You think the coaches of those teams, you think they actually coach LeBron? Do you think they actually have a say on how the direction of the team? No. Because it has to go through LeBron. Because if LeBron doesn't like it, he'll just not play. He'll just leave. And then the team's in a shitter. So no, he has them by the balls. So pretty much when you're signing LeBron, you're pretty much saying you're selling your soul for a ring at the cost of the future of the program. Because sure, it's one. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing with Golden State. Golden State was shit for a long time. But you got a guy, made some ballsy trades like Ellis. I remember making a Facebook post about how stupid it was to trade Ellis, but that proved me wrong because they got better from it. And they built a team and they won with who they had. And then they picked up the big boys later, like Kevin Durant. And even then people gave them shit for it, but here's the thing. If Kevin Durant left that team, they still would have been great. Their legacy has been cemented. But no legacy is getting cemented with LeBron comes in. They're not building towards anything. They're just going for a fast food championship just to please LeBron. And here's the thing, yeah, those other players and coaches on the team, they may have their championship rings, but let's face it, no one's going to talk about them. They're going to talk about LeBron because it's all LeBron. So
I think LeBron is a substantial player because he's won a couple of championships, but he's lost so many that it really doesn't reflect as positively as so many other players.
Oh yeah, when frickin' the Mavericks.
For example, players who won less championships.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, look at the bad boy Pistons. I mean, those guys, they only won like 2 out of 3, and they lost the first one, and then he won 2 straight. But
yeah, I think about a team like the Dallas Mavericks that played the Miami Heat and won the championship.
Yeah, I remember that. That was legit shit.
Because he was one of those players that couldn't win a championship.
Well, here's the.
And he became a little bit more celebrated after the fact.
Well, because here's the thing. He stuck with the Mavericks. The Mavericks built a team for that run to beat the Heat. That's the difference. That's what made the Mavericks so good, is the fact that they stuck to their guns and they developed a team. That's the difference nowadays. See, have you ever watched a basketball game nowadays? Like this season? Or last season even?
Like, I was watching a couple of the playoff games and highlights from the Lakers, and it just seemed like everyone knew the Lakers were so good from the start of the season.
Yeah, and
like, that's how some of these superstar teams develop. It's just the hype gets built at the beginning of the year, and then nobody can stop the hype train for a 7-game series. Like, they can obviously have teams beat the best team in the league, but they don't beat them consistently.
Yeah, because here's my problem with basketball nowadays. Like, the sport is, no one does the sport, and you can look up other YouTubers because they've said similar things that I've always been thinking about basketball for a long time in recent years. Everyone. Now, I love the recent, like, Rise of the Warriors, I think, is the perfect way to develop a basketball team. But here's the problem. Now, every team, all they want to do is shoot threes, and every once in a while drive into the lane and flop a foul and shoot their free throws, and they do it all the time. There's no strategy. There's no style. All it is jacking and flopping. That's what it is. Jacking and flopping. Non-stop. And yeah, the scores are pretty high, but it's not very eventful. I mean, when was the last? I mean, imagine a defender trying to block a shot. I mean, they get fouled. And not because it was a bad block, it would be a good block. They just flop and all that. I mean, geez. I mean, they're not playing basketball. They're playing shootout. That's what they're doing. They're just playing a shootout. It's not basketball. Now, my dad, he brought up an interesting idea that I think might be cool. Getting rid of the three-point line. Or...
rid of the three-point line?
Yeah.
How about we talk about the other sports a little more? We've been breaking down the basketball and the impact a lot.
Yeah, and I will quickly say their playoff system that they did for this, I didn't think it was bad, but, like, it was executed pretty well, but I noticed...
Did you make a prediction for the World Series?
Oh, yeah, Dodgers and frickin',
Tampa Bay.
Dodgers and Tampa Bay. You know what? Dodgers had won the last... No, Senators won the last one, but Dodgers, I think, won the one before that, I think.
No, I'm... baseball, not hockey.
Yeah, that's why I say Dodgers, like LA Dodgers.
The Dodgers have to win the championship because they lost last year.
They lost... Oh, they didn't make it in because Senators... and the Nationals...
Senators is a hockey team, man.
I'm sorry, when I thought of Senators... There was a baseball team called the Washington Senators.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were kind of a thing off and on, but it's weird because the first incarnation moved to Texas and became the Rangers, and the second incarnation moved to Minnesota and became the Minnesota Twins. So, that's a topic for another day, but anyway, I do think, based on my knowledge, it seemed like Dodgers have a lot more experience winning in the World Series than Tampa. But I will say this, it would be cool to see Tampa win, just to see a new, a fresh face win the title, even though Nationals won the first one their first World Series last year. I just like it when new teams get put in the fold. I mean, I get it, dynasties should happen, they should, but I do think it is nice to see like newer teams come forward, like the freaking Padres making the playoffs for the first time in like forever.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. It's nice to have just new teams have a little bit of success.
Yeah, cause
championship once in a while.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
yeah,
like the Dodgers still are remembered as the Brooklyn Dodgers in part of their legacy.
Oh yeah, I'm a Brooklyn Dodgers.
Definitely use the championship too to just cement their status as one of those elite teams or whatever.
Actually, believe it or not, they've only won one World Series as Brooklyn. All their other titles have been under LA.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But yeah, I love them in Brooklyn. I mean, I am a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. It's something that always rang with me was the Brooklyn Dodgers. LA Dodgers, I mean, where they're at right now, I think they still have a pretty strong legacy. I just think the only reason why a lot of people don't think of them as much as other teams, I think, is mainly because it's tricky. I think a lot of it's just due to the fact that we take them for granted now because they've been so successful for so long that it's just like it's the Dodgers, it's whatever. It's different when it's like the Padres and it's like holy shit, it's the fucking Padres. We better pay attention to them. Let's see what they do. I mean, you get used to the success after a while and it becomes kind of like expected. Like NBA is a huge culprit. I'm sorry, I'm going back to the NBA, but hardly any new teams get in the playoffs this year, as far as I've noticed. It seems like it's always the same teams for NBA, but besides Milwaukee is a cool little rise up there. But yeah, for baseball, I would like to see Tampa win. I mean, if LA wins, it's not going to hurt my feelings, because based on what Tampa's doing, from what I know, it seems like they could always come back. But it's been such a weird season for baseball, for sure. And for the most part, I think it's done okay, but I will say this. Having a lot of the games rescheduled and everything kind of... I will say, I do like... I'm surprised to say that I actually like the expanded playoffs. I didn't think I would, but I kind of like the idea of having, like, more teams involved. It kind of reminds me of, like, college basketball, the March Madness thing. It kind of gives like more markets the ability to kind of invest, like fans to invest in their teams. And yeah, the teams that have worse records usually are for good reasons because they're not the best team. But a lot of things can happen this season: injuries, bad luck. All it takes is a break in the playoffs, and if they get their motor running, they can pull a new.
Yeah. A lot of sports where one player can just completely energize a team. Now, one player doesn't change a whole team always or that much, but they can still like really have such an impact if they're taken away.
Oh yeah.
Even if they aren't like the complete driving force of a team when they're playing.
Oh yeah.
One player get injured can completely change a team's season, like especially if they're one of the best players in the game.
Oh yeah. For example,
think of if the Lakers would have won the championship if LeBron had an injury and was out for an extended period.
I think I would have liked that even.
I don't think so.
I mean, if they won, I would have liked it even more because it proves that they don't need fucking LeBron and he can go suck a toilet. but yeah, it would have been a whole lot harder because Miami, for a quick, brief second, looked like they were going to steal it from them, and I wish they did so bad. I just wanted to see crybaby LeBron on the sideline. Oh my god.
Yeah, what about, I predicted that the Dodgers will probably win the baseball series. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's 100%.
I think Dodgers will probably win, but I would like to see Tampa win.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think it's likely the Dodgers win?
Probably. They just have more experience. I mean, I don't know what Tampa has up their sleeve. I don't really follow them. I'm more familiar with the Dodgers in terms of personnel than Tampa, but Tampa's been on the bubble for playoffs for pretty consistently for a long time. And they had been to a World Series one time, but they didn't win it. So they've always kind of been there, but they kind of were like the Chargers in a lot of ways when they in their prime. They were there, but they couldn't get over the hump. And I hope this year they get over the hump, but I don't know them well enough to see if that's possible against the Dodgers.
You know, I think it's interesting that you went to a football analogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
in the football games lately too.
Yeah, I've been watching the Lions. I will say, man, this football, a lot of games getting rescheduled. For the most part, they kept things relatively the same. I will say, I find it kind of redundant. Some of these rules for COVID for these sports seem a little like far. It's weird because it's like because they say you have to do the mask stuff, but then you have moments where they're not doing the mask and they're doing these things. And like, what is your logic in using mask and not using?
Some of it seems different, obviously. But
I mean,
it's good that they're trying their best to play it out.
Yeah.
And not give up on all the seasons.
I've been hearing.
There are probably people with mixed feelings on it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say anything weird.
I've been hearing rumors that they might shorten the season to like maybe like 12 games or something like that. Do you think they should?
I don't have an opinion on it. I mean, I think it'd be best decided by the players and the coaches and the organizations. I don't really think the fans should be the ones to decide if they shorten seasons because they're not the ones that have to play.
Yeah.
Take the health risks.
The only reason why I think it was brought up is because so many like games had to be postponed and rearranged because of the pandemic that some people are thinking, well, based on this trend, maybe we're better off shortening the season a little bit and just get right into the playoffs. Because I think the playoffs are also expanded in the NFL as well. Yeah, they are. They made a new rule. They are expanded. So there's more teams going into the playoffs than before. So it's kind of interesting to see like how long they'll be able to go into it. But to be honest, I wouldn't mind a shorter season mainly because I feel like I don't know. I think when you're gonna include more teams in the playoffs, if you're gonna make the playoffs bigger, then having a long regular season in football seems like you're really trying to stretch out their lifespans out a little bit. I mean, they included an option in it before the pandemic. They included an option to add a 17th game if they think the season was going well enough by the owners. To be honest, I don't think they should at this time. I think they should wait till next season, mainly because they don't know what's going to happen with everything. But I think they should make a backup plan for a short season, because for all we know, a bunch of teams could get that whatever, and they have to postpone a gajillion games, and it messes everything up. So I think they should have a backup plan in case they have to short the season out a little bit, because there's no guarantees that everyone's going to make the full 16, but you know, Roger Goodell, when there's a will, people are going to get hurt. Got to get that money.
Of Roger Goodell, aren't you? But, I mean, for good reason. He's not exactly one of the best league commissioners, in my opinion. Would you agree?
No. To be honest, who's the baseball commissioner?
I don't remember.
I know basketball is like, what, Adam Silver? Is it still him?
I think so, but all I know is that in the past, like even before the having to deal with death-related like ordinance and stuff like that, like there was a lot of people who were critical of Roger Goodell.
Well, first of all, that whole
interest of the league.
Yeah. A while ago, the ESPN or NFL Network, they did a thing about Dan Snyder, former Washington owner. You know, they used to be called Washington Redskins.
The football team.
And he was super. And what they revealed, like the people who worked there, he very corrupt. Probably one of the most corrupt owners ever. I mean, no wonder they suck so bad. And you know what the sad part of Redskins? Before he came in, they were like on the same level as, you know, back in the day when like Miami, San Fran, Buffalo, New York Giants, like that high level of like prestige, all the Super Bowl wins, the Hall of Fame players, the super just playoff runs, just like there. And then he came in and it became a laughing stock like frickin' Browns and Lions. Barely win anything, wasted players, terrible signings. I mean, the fact that he managed to stay there for this long is a sign that, because first of all, any commissioner with a brain would look at watching and be like, yeah, something's not right here. I'm hearing things. We need to step in and we need to end this shit. And he should have. I mean, geez. I mean, you know what the Astros did? Like, not necessarily the players trading, but the own like it'd be the equivalent of like, because if the frickin' if Dan Snyder was managing a baseball team, like right now, they would have cut him like that. They would have took care of that shit. But frickin' Goodell, yeah, in South Park was right. He is like a fucking robot because he barely does anything. He just spats out like safe statements and just gets oiled up by the scientists.
Yeah, people just give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, they shouldn't. In fact, in all honesty, I grew up loving the NFL, but to be honest, I'm still kind of upset the XFL isn't a thing because I really love the XFL. I mean, they were new, they were interesting, they were revolutionizing the game. They weren't perfect, but they were certainly. Did you hear that Dwayne Johnson bought it and they plan on coming back in 2022?
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't hear about that, but
I don't know. Yeah.
It was people that weren't considered good enough for the NFL would play in the XFL and have another chance to play football.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I find it a shame that, I think a lot of it is because the guy, wrestling Vince McMahon, because he owns WWE and they do XFL. I think he just kind of like second go around, because the original was like in the early 2000s and they actually completed a season, but it was awful because they actually tried to put wrestling elements in there and it didn't work. This time around they left it to football and just were extreme and just like adding cool little features to the game, little rule changes, trying to make more sense of it. And yeah, it was so much better, but the pandemic just ruined it. If it wasn't for the pandemic, we would have had a season. We probably would have a second season this spring. But yeah. So, but yeah, when I rewatch like NFL now, and it's just like, I'm not saying I'm bored, but it's just like, can we do something to kind of make things interesting? Can we like add something extra here? Because I know if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but for God's sakes, I just feel like after seeing the XFL, I'm just like, man, there's so many cool little things you could do about this game to make it more interesting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you're willing to like move a bunch of teams around, can you tweak? I mean, especially when you see what the XFL did and it was perfect. Why not take some of those? Why not have the type of kickoffs they did? Why not have like why not give more airtime to like player talking? Let us hear more of them instead of like an obnoxious amount of announcer talk. Like
Chris Collinsworth enough, dude.
Oh my God, fuck Chris Collinsworth. I fucking hate him. I'd rather. That's what I love about the XFL. Is like the announcers at the XFL were good. There was nothing wrong with them, but there's only so much they can say when they announce a game. The dead space should be given to like the coaches and the players to hear what they're saying and what they're talking about, and giving a more involved feeling on the field. Especially those player interviews after plays. I mean, they did a good job of selecting like who to interview when they interview them, because it can be pretty chaotic. But some of them, it helps you get invested in the team and the players because you get to know them. Not just the statistics, but who they are, and it helps you kind of develop like an attachment to like the teams and the players, and makes you want to watch it, as opposed to the NFL where you don't know shit. You barely know anyone except for the top three divas like frickin' Brady.
But do you
and frickin' Aaron Rodgers.
Is there anything that we can mention about hockey? Because I feel like we really haven't mentioned hockey, but I don't know the hockey dynamics well enough.
To be honest, out of the four...
Explained. I don't know how hockey would be best fit here.
Well,
I'm not a hockey expert. I apologize.
Based on my knowledge, out of the four sports, hockey, without doubt, is the most well-adjusted by far. I mean, they focus on the sport. They don't get too crazy about the extra stuff. Like, they adjust when they can adjust. They improve where they can improve, but they don't lose sight of the fact that it's a sport, and they play the game. That's what I love about hockey nowadays. It just seems the most down to earth out of the four. 'Cause with NBA being the worst by far. NFL is a bit better because there's more of a competition with it, but it's kind of flirting with the line a little bit. Baseball is still good, but they need to start spicing some things up, and they did this year with all the rule changes. I hope they stay because I think a lot of them were pretty good changes. So, but yeah, I do think NHL. I say next season. I think it'll be cool to see. Here's the thing: this thing's going to affect next seasons too, because they're going to have to short those seasons up to kind of to try to get back to the pattern they had before. So we're going to see weird seasons next season too. Like we're probably going to see a shorter hockey season, a shorter NBA season. Baseball should probably be fine. Same thing with the NFL, but definitely hockey and basketball, we're going to see some differences there still before they go back to true normal. But NHL, they're getting a Seattle team, and I'm excited about that for sure.
Who knows, honestly, if there will be a true normal after the pandemic for these leagues? You know what I mean?
Oh no, there's not going to be a true normal. Like the pandemic has evolved us to the next step in our civilization. This is like, I mean, something like this hasn't happened since like the 1910s. I mean, this is the kind of thing we're going to talk to our grandchildren about when they're like, wait, you went through a pandemic? You're like, yes, sirree, sonny boy. We went through the big one.
Impact the leagues in the future, like when it's over, you know?
Oh, yeah, it'll affect them, but to be honest, I mean, when stuff like this happens, you gotta look at yourself like, okay, we gotta make some changes, but look at it as an opportunity. Let's see what we can change that could actually make us better in the long run. And I think
that's the way to put it. It's not just a problem; it's an opportunity to solve the problem.
Yeah, like I think baseball's better off. I think hockey's better off. NBA isn't better off by any stretch. NFL, I don't know. They haven't really changed much really with this, so that remains to be seen. But I do think that that it will be better. I think those changes will make the leagues better for sure. Now I kind of hope that NHL keeps their new playoff system for the next one. I mean, not necessarily the bubbles in selected cities, but I would like to see like the structure, like the teams, how it's structured, because I think I find it more interesting, and it's complex enough to make it like interesting, but it's easy enough to understand where it's not just like a convoluted trap, you know. I mean, yeah, it would be easy just to do the traditional playoff thing, but to be honest, it's like you gotta spice it up sometimes. You can't just always do the same thing over and over again. You can only get so much versatility with that.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, remember how they changed up the NFL Pro Bowl and they made it a little more exciting the other year?
Oh yeah, when they switched to the captain thing instead of the conference lineup.
Yeah, I thought that was so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It just added a little bit of a change, but it didn't make it like less exciting. It made it more fun. It wasn't a significant change, but it was still fun and people liked it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about it is that they really, and like all the leagues, they need to appeal to the audience, but they also have to keep in mind that they're that it's becoming harder for sports teams to really connect with people nowadays because less and less kids are playing in sports, so they have to find ways to get people reinvested in those leagues, and I think the biggest way to do it is just not be afraid to change shit up. Like for example, like basketball, change the 3 point line, get rid of it, or maybe have half the teams have the 3 point line. Do something to kind of make players actually play basketball again instead of just fake it. NFL, like change some things up, add some extra rules, try to make things more interesting. I mean, these leagues, I understand if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but for God's sakes, you can't, if you want kids to get invested back in the sport, you gotta give something to make it interesting, you know? And granted, a lot of fans, I feel like for sports, are built in sports video games. And considering that a lot of them have sucked recently, that's probably why we're not seeing that same investment. You know?
Yeah.
I know when I played sports, I played a lot of sports games. At least for me.
I think Madden will continue to haunt me for the rest of my life because it's such an awful game.
Oh my god. Remember when Madden was... I hate being that guy, but remember when Madden was good?
No, remember that one of the most popular videos on our channel is literally me saying, hell no, I'm not playing this Madden. It's shitty. Hell no, you can play it, and I don't want to.
You want the ironic part?
The
one game you say that to is probably the best Madden. One of the best Maddens.
I'm just very critical of all the Madden games, so that's just my opinion. I know some people like them.
Yeah, to be honest, really...
it was worse to NCAA football.
Oh, NCAA football was.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. And, like... Man, we could talk about football sports games forever. But yeah, bro, if you wanted to get into, like, more... If you want to play football games, but, something good, probably the best football game out on this generation right now is Mutant Football League.
Mutant Football. Yeah, we need to play that when we do some more videos for the Video Gaming League.
I actually am
thinking... I can play it some more.
Yeah, it's on Xbox One. It is on there.
Yeah, do you have Xbox One?
No, dude. You still got your extra one, remember? We talked about you sending it to me, and I don't know what's been going on with that.
We could possibly make that happen. We could play a couple of Mutant Football League games on Xbox One, you and I.
Yeah, I just need your...
We'll get that out pretty soon. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, all you have to do is just mail me your old Xbox One, and we can make that happen.
Yeah, and I'll try to make sure it still works too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean even if it's a little off, I'm sure I can maybe figure out a way to kind of tweak it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, bro, if you send that over here, we can do so much online shit.
Yeah.
And that'll be helpful. We do have to do some other videos though coming up soon here. Like Fenn and Mike play sports games. We should do. We're getting off topic with sports BS, but yeah, that's kind of our thoughts for these. In terms of the next one, I say maybe we'll do one after the World Series ends. Our thoughts on who won or whatever. But I think we may wait a little longer and see what else pops up in football or whatever. So we'll see on that. But I think we're good here, Mike, with this. Do you have any last words to say about stuff?
Thank you to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate everyone who's been watching our videos and our streams. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and we can't thank you enough for all the support. It means so much to us.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're trying to doing a lot of cool stuff. It's tricky to like keep doing shit when, other stuff. It's life, You try to cuz in all honesty, me and Mike, if it was our choice, we would do this for our jobs, but we can't because, YouTube's a bunch of dicks. I'm joking.
You gotta work on that, man. It's all good though.
But yeah, I was joking. I love YouTube, but yeah, we're just doing what we can. But yeah, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing and try to find ways to keep things interesting. But yeah, guys.
I'm gonna be releasing some new videos soon, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm not sure, but I think it should be exciting.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you wanted to chat with me, Mike, or anyone else at the Campy Company, and you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. The first one is our Discord channel, which you can find a link to that in the About page / section, About section of our YouTube channel. We also have a discussion tab, which you can only access with your laptop or desktop or whatever, but I will be putting updates, comments there and there, and if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. Because, you know, you can only get the community tab when you get 1,000 subs, and it's so hard to get 1,000 subs. but yeah, it's there. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.
Yeah, peace out, guys.